Hello kids, I make this video because I love you, and specific to this video, it's important for me to say that I truly love all races. I am here to talk to you about the truth that no one in infected communist New York City will tell you, because either they are sick minions of pure evil of the Democrat Party, or they are scared to tell you this truth. The truth of our racial situation. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. The natural, moral, loving reality that every single person in the world knows about, which is generous, loving, moral, compassionate people, still most prefer to habitate a society with people of their own race. That is simply reality. Just like, is gravity moral or is gravity immoral? Let's have a debate. Is gravity moral or is gravity immoral? It is what it is. It has nothing to do with it. In the same way, our DNA disposes us to have an affinity for our own race. It's called biological altruism. So then, we didn't worry about any of this because we were a white nation. And we didn't worry that immigrants from all over the world were coming in to an extent because it wasn't majorly affecting our demographic, and we're loving and we want all people to be loving, and we see minorities, and because the majority ethnicity of white people is intact, there's no issue, there's no tension. There shouldn't be. However, because white people obviously make societies that the rest of the world for the most part admire and want to live inside, more and more people of other ethnicities populated the United States. Until 1965, it was openly accepted as moral to talk about these things as a testament to the healthy acceptance of reality that the Democrats' heads explode when they confront, because of their massive contempt for reality, as you've seen. They can't handle this. This quote was from Colorado Representative William Vail in, I think it was 1924. He said this regarding immigration, quote, "Let me emphasize here that the restrictionists of Congress do not claim that the Nordic race or even the Anglo-Saxon race is the best race in the world. Let us concede, in all fairness, that the Czech is a more sturdy laborer with a very low percentage of crime and insanity, that the Jew is the best businessman in the world, and that the Italians have a spiritual exaltation and artistic creative sense which the Nordic rarely attains. What we do claim is that the Northern European, and particularly the Anglo-Saxon, made this country. Oh yes, the others helped, but they came to this country because it was already made as an Anglo-Saxon commonwealth. They added to it, they often enriched it, but they did not make it, and they have not yet greatly changed it. We are determined that they shall not. It is a good country, it suits us, and what we assert is that we are not going to surrender it to somebody else or allow other people, no matter what their merits, to make it something different. If there is any changing to be done, we will do it ourselves." Now, the point is, do you see how natural and open such reasonable, obvious opinion was back in the older days? During the 1964-65 Immigration Act, there was even a discussion by the Democrats who wanted open immigration policies. These, back in the day, sensible enough Democrats freely discussed and admitted, they said that there was nothing to worry about regarding the racial demographics. Democratic Congressman Edward Kennedy stated, this is a Democrat stating about immigration, quote, "What the bill will not do, first, our cities will not be flooded with 1 million immigrants annually. Under the proposed bill, the present level of immigration remains substantially the same. Secondly, the ethnic mix of this country will not be upset. Contrary to the changes in some quarters, we will not inundate America with immigrants from any one country or area, or the most populated and economically deprived nations of Africa and Asia. In the final analysis, the ethnic pattern of immigration under the proposed measure is not expected to change the demographics as sharply as the critics seem to think." Glean from this, note, the Democrats who are trying to advocate for more immigration, they acknowledge that the concern of changing the white dominant demographic is morally acceptable and a legitimate moral concern. See that? The Democrats fully acknowledge as moral the concern of the white majority to preserve their majority and their culture. Thus, it was completely moral, as of course it is, and accepted by 100% of the nation, as this Democrat representative, Edward Kennedy, just confirmed in his quote. Now, what happened is, because our society, as defined not by whites, but by everyone else in the world, defines white society to be the most appealing, our standard of living to be the highest, etc., they all deem the United States and Europe to be appealing, and they all want to come here. So what happened is more immigrants and more immigrants and more immigrants watered down our people, our white people, our white culture. 1 million illegal aliens per year, more than that, enter America per year. While Edward Kennedy said that we do not have to worry because 1 million legal immigrants even will not be entering the United States. Now we have 1 million illegal immigrants alone entering the United States. So they've been pouring in, and now, instead of 90%, our demographic is 60%. And now the leftists fully understand the white genocide of our culture and our people, which can be explicitly proven, which I may do in another video. They know what they're doing. They know they're destroying their culture, they're taking away their religion, their heritage, their rituals, their language. Thus, in order for them to preemptively attack the whites who say, we're losing our culture and our majority in our native land, this is maximally angering and we have a justification for it, they preemptively try to stop that in their most evil tactics of saying whites who have done nothing are racist and Nazis and bigots and hate mongers and xenophobes, and they take every single adjective and pour it on their sick, evil New York papers, New York Times, Washington Post, and all the teachers at Browning. All of them. They are pouring it on because they know it's time for us to have alarm, and they are very close to making us a minority. And when we have been stripped of our homelands, they will then have overcome the biggest obstacle to their deepestly sick utopia that they believe can happen. They believe this, that all of us, all black, white, yellow, brown, green, blue people are supposed to live together in like a living room and have no preference for gender or for ethnicity or nothing. No preference. We're supposed to be blind. Why? Because that's in the John Lennon song. Imagine there is no possessions. Imagine there is no borders. Imagine there is no religion. The world will live as one. And they make up these concepts called white supremacy. That concept is a construct of pure evil. Whites just want to maintain their homeland. No, you are a Nazi. If you say that you don't like your own genocide, you're a Nazi. This is what they're doing. They want to steal all of the white people's culture, all of it, clearly, our dominance. Now, as I've said ad nauseum, in truth, because I'm healthy, I love all races. I love Mexicans, I love blacks, I love Brazilians, I love Eskimos, I love Middle Easterners. Where is my hatred? I've just, and will continue to articulate the truth of this racial situation. Because they can't counter my argument, they have no choice but to dump on me every word in the book. Hateful, racist, Nazi, evil, etc., etc., etc. Because they know what they are doing is so evil. They know it. Thus, it is every moral person's responsibility to condemn the left and their sick immigration rhetoric. The left's immigration rhetoric is pure evil, pure immorality. They are actively genociding white culture and white homelands in Europe and America. I'm going to say that again. I can prove it. I probably will in a whole nother long video. The left knows, either consciously or subconsciously, that they are actively destroying, eradicating white people's native homeland and native culture, which, by the way, is explicitly protected under the UN Constitution under self-determination. They are wrong as wrong can be. Yet notice, if I were to say this publicly in New York City, I may be beaten to death. Right? Ask your teachers if this is true or not. They won't fucking answer because they're such cowards. Cowardice of these people in New York. Your teachers, and once again, either they're brainwashed and they think what I'm saying is evil, even though it's logically so obviously correct. Those people, by the way, go like this. No, he's a racist. He's a big guy. I'm going to go watch MSNBC because this guy's evil. And they're going to go to this video and like paint a swastika on my face or something and be like, he's bigot, he's racist. They get like 100 people to scream at me. But all I am full of is love. And note how those leftists hate freedom of speech. If I were to simply expose my views and say, here are my views, you people have a right to dismiss them or accept them. This is the marketplace of ideas. They don't want that because they can't handle the truth because they can't fight it. That's the whole point of the left. That's why they lie every second of every day. They can't handle the truth. So what does that say about their ideal society? Well, it says what the truth is all along. Their utopia is a fucking lie. It's sick. Would you want to live in this leftist utopia? I'll tell you what, guys. Let's have perfect quotas of every nationality in New York City. Let's just ban, outright call illegal, any speech that doesn't promote the leftist line. And you are forced to not marry someone of your own race. You have to marry a different race or you look down upon, or maybe it's illegal. Let's say it's legal in 20 years. This is what they want. What is this called? It's the word for it. It's called totalitarianism and communist ideology, communist cultural thought. They are fucking evil. New York City has a virus in that place that is so fuck me evil. I talk about freedom of speech, talk about biological altruism. I talk about the way things were. I talk about Democrats spoke in 1965. We all were free to speak these things. They're fucking evil. They want to steal the white people's stuff because we happen to, for whatever reason, our biology, we make these beautiful societies. I think all societies are beautiful. I think everyone should mostly stay in their societies. Why? Because they would be most happy in it. I mean, would you prefer to go live in Somalia even if it wasn't a war zone? Would you prefer that? Let's say I guarantee you with a magic wand you're never going to get killed and you can make 60,000 a year in Somalia. Would you want to go live there? No. You know why? It's not your culture. All those people look so different than you. There's no biological altruism. Democrats hate this reality. They want to twist reality because they hate reality. They hate nature. Now, kids, let me ask you a question. If you hate reality and you are going against nature, if you're going against the universe, nature, what will happen to you and your group if you go against the universe? You are going to experience suffering. You are going to have to twist everything around in twister fashions to construct an ideology that somehow best fits your sickness, and it's going to be leaking all over the place with inconsistencies and facts, so you have to just lie and browbeat in silence. New York City, the Browning School is so deeply infected with this sick lie, and thus we are here today. So, in short, every person and every race is wonderful. For some strange reasons, white people seem to make the most attractive societies, and everyone else wants to illegally come through and go against the democratically decided upon sovereignty of the United States to go in, sit down, breed, and breed out, destroy culture, shun the white people, and take our culture and say, okay, now we have everything. We have the best police force, the most entertainment, standard of living's high. They're stealing it. Thus, everyone, including black, white, yellow, brown, green, including you Somalis, including you Asians, including you Mexicans, including all you Hispanics. If you are moral, then you will defend the white people. If you are moral Spanish person, if you are moral Mexican person, if you are moral Somali person, if you are moral Brazilian person, you will say this is wrong, this white genocide is wrong. These white people have a right to their culture, they have a right to their ethnic dominance in their homeland, and we are destroying it. And we must stick up for these good white people that have given so much love to all the people in the world, in the nations, and everybody. That is morality. That is morality. And every fucking me leftist will kill me before I'm allowed to speak this freely, because they are pure evil. Everything they do, every newspaper clipping, everything they do is a lie, is sick, pure fucking evil. And we need to do something about this before this takes over the world, and maybe in 300 years we'll have some kind of revival. What about in the meantime? Why are we rolling over? Because everyone's a fucking coward or they're brainwashed. Coward or brainwashed. And that's New York City. That's what's going on with race. So, you kids, when you see your churches torn down, when you are no longer allowed to sing "O Holy Night" in the Browning Choir as your Christmas solo, you're not allowed to enjoy the cultural heritage of your fathers and your culture, and you are no longer allowed to enjoy the cultural heritage of your people, when you no longer allowed to see the word Christmas in the Browning literature, not even the word. No, it's a holiday special with holiday songs. Even though now it's in a Jewish synagogue, isn't it? Why is that? We can't have our Christmas festivity. It's fucking Christmas. Why do you think we have the break? At a church, no, we're not allowed. We have to have it as a synagogue. Now, I have no problem with Jews. I'm simply making the point. See? It's fucking evil that they're stripping you of your heritage, of your wisdom that your forefathers gave to you in Christianity. You don't have to believe in Christianity. I don't. I think it's crazy. But you know what? As I said in other videos, I respect the wisdom in it. It's the way my forefathers see the world. In the music, in the tradition, in the lore. They're stripping this from you. You have to dial 1 for Spanish. Why do we do that? Spanish is not in our culture. They're taking it all away from you, man. They're taking it all away from you. They want to indoctrinate you to think that the most healthy way to be is to marry someone as ethnically different as you, so you can breed out the white race. Now, if you truly happen to fall in love as a white person with, say, a black person, that's beautiful. I champion that. I love all people. I love black people. But that's an individual happening. This indoctrination that you have to hate your own race. It is so evil. Thus, fight for the white people. Whatever color you are, fight for it. Do something with your lives with integrity. And join the battle and fight this pure evil destroying us. That is inculcating the most sick, open, anti-white racism. This destroying of your culture, this wanton rape of your homeland. It's so immoral. And that's what's happened. So all you people in New York who think it's normal to see every single culture and ethnicity and language, it's not normal. How do you know it's not normal? Because look at the crime rate, look at the tension. And every single white person, unless they're completely sick, and there's a lot of them that are, knows exactly the feeling I'm talking about, and they try to correct themselves of this feeling. That's how sick they are. They're trying to redo their healthy biology. That's how sick they are. Mutant society, man. If you're black, fight for the white people. Fight for their majority. If you're Hispanic, fight for the majority for white people. Be moral. Do the right thing. God knows we've given so much grace and mercy and treasure and compassion and patience and tolerance to everybody else. Well, this country is a predominantly white country. At least it still is. And if pure evil is going to strip us and genocide us, at least go down speaking the truth. And by the way, if all of you stood up and were counted, we'd stop this shit. And you know what else, by the way? The minorities would appreciate it. They'd respect you. The blacks, the Hispanics, all them, they'd be like, wow, finally, these white people stuck up for themselves. I had no idea they'd be such pussies, but they were such pussies. Finally, someone's standing up. Let me ask you something, folks. Give this video to every minority you see and ask them, do you think that man is worthy of respect? Don't ask them if they agree with this, but what do they think of my integrity? If they're honest, they'll be like, yeah, that guy has integrity. Because this is exactly the way I'd want them to speak if immigration was destroying their homeland. If people in the Congo were inundated with 100,000 Mexicans a year, every year, let's take more Somalis, let's bring more Islam in here and have apostates must be killed and all that sickness, I would feel for those people. If 100,000 whites every year were going into Mexico and saying, no, now you people have to dial 1 for English, we want to celebrate 4th of July in Mexico, we want to have free health care for all these, we're just going to walk in there, we want free health care. I'm going to come in, I have 6 babies, and I just want you to take care of me. I wouldn't want white people destroying Mexico that way, because I love Mexicans. Where is your love for the wonderful, compassionate white race that's done so much that it has nothing to apologize for? Quite the contrary. The whole fucking planet should be apologizing to us and thanking us for all that we do. You go look up how much aid annually we give the rest of the world. Go look it up. Have you ever heard a thank you? Integrity. Truth. Fight the pure evil Democrats, because the world has never seen such evil, in my opinion. At least the Nazis were upfront about things. At least the Nazis were consistent and truthful in their ideology. At least the left lies. They lie. They're pure fucking evil. I love you very, very much.
An unrelenting stream of immigration, non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America, from then and on, will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of our strength. Not only our Muslim communities, but African communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities, And the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop.
My concern is doing away with whiteness. Whiteness is a form of racial oppression, sure. The suggestion is that it is somehow possible to separate whiteness from oppression, and it is not. There can be no white race without the phenomenon of white supremacy. If you abolish slavery, you abolish slaveholders. In the same way, if you abolish racial oppression, you do away with whiteness. Treason to whiteness is loyalty to humanity.